Hi, everyone, and welcome to Be True, my podcast about the writing I love and the writing I do. I promise I won't rhyme the whole time. I'm John Tessitore, and today, Lesson, a poem from my collection, The Americans. You can find The Americans and all of my work at johntessitore.com. As you may remember, if you've been listening for a while, The Americans is a collection of poems inspired by Robert Frank's 1958 photo essay of the same name, The Americans. A series of portraits that tries to be representative of American life in all of its facets. How America felt to Frank, a Swiss immigrant in the 1950s, and now how it feels to me, a native-born Long Islander in the 2020s. Such projects are doomed to fail. They'll never be truly representative. How can they be? But so what? I mean, really, in creative matters, so what? A failure in a creative matter is still a brand new thing that had not existed in the world before. So it's best just to try. Try the impossible. You can always try again later. And with The Americans, I tried. I had written a batch of new poems that seemed alike in approach and theme, story poems about individual people. Then I pulled a few more that were similar from a folder of older work, and then I spread them out and surveyed the field for glaring omissions. Lesson is a poem I wrote to remedy an omission that seemed glaring to me at the time. I will show you the dance if you let me, if you follow. I will hold your lovely hips and sway and guide you as first we loosen our limbs, then our hearts, then our inhibitions. Then we leave ourselves, our bodies, behind, and surrender to the space around us until we are not here, not anymore. Gone, together, two primas. I will take your hand, lead you along, my touch your only connection. Close your eyes. The mirror's image is not your reflection. You will not know this person. She is something other, something else. A body once ignored, a body forgotten, a body frozen, a body beaten, a body starved, a body imprisoned, a body misused, a body poisoned, a body tied to a tree, a body left for dead, now free, with me. Surrender to the space around us until we are not here, not anymore. That's a line about being in the moment, about being one with the creative fire, about running on instinct, about energy, about the spirit, about the flow, whatever you want to call that creative moment when we are wide open and lose track of time or worry and exist and create. When self and universe are the same. I hope you felt that at least once or twice. It's what we chase as humans, in creativity, in sex, in meditation, that flow. And if you get close, you keep chasing it, which creates its own problems, but not the problem I want to address here. The problem, the omission I wanted to address by writing Lesson for The Americans, was the absence of flow in American life. To put it another way, I wanted to address the heavy insistence on self in so many of the poems I'd written. As you might expect from a collection called The Americans, published in 2023, so many of the poems expressed frustration and addressed the wide gap between the promises and the reality of modern America. Personal, professional, political, cultural frustrations. And that's a good thing, and I'm ready to enter each of those battles at the drop of a hat. And yet, the frustrations we express are often as American as the promises broken, and they stem from the same basic cultural tendency. The promise says to each of us, here in America, you are an equal, and so here you matter. The frustration says, you told me I was equal here in America, so why don't I matter? Do you hear it? Both are about very personal desires and aspirations. The American dream says, here you will succeed. The frustration says, you won't let me succeed. The dream does not say, here you will reach a state of oneness with the universe. More than likely, in America, your success will come, if it comes, by carving up the universe into marketable slices. That's how capitalism works, but that's not how creativity or intimacy or sex works. These are emancipatory states, emancipatory from the self, if you can let go of your ego, as in a dance class, which is creative and intimate and erotic. Good heavens, is it homoerotic? And emancipatory and affirmative, and in the end, in the last line of a poem, communal. Now free with me. Now free with me. There's a potential darkness to that line, shadowy, dangerous, maybe even predatory. But there's also something affirmative in it, an intimacy that would have been missing from the Americans without this poem, and is missing from most of American life in general. An affirmative intimacy with each other, again, creative, erotic, emancipatory, and an intimacy with the world around us, the natural world and the man-made world, a sense of connection that draws us out of ourselves and into a wider universe. I'm recording this episode during a political season in America. 2 candidates. One, the most unapologetically egocentric creature ever to limo his way through the streets of New York, which is really saying something. And the other, trying to draw a sharp contrast, trying to make sure that you know she cares about you specifically, even when the promise she's making involves more than a little hocus pocus. Fair enough. People have needs, and they look to their leaders in moments of desperation, or try to find new leaders in their moments of desperation. But neither candidate suggests that we might meet at least some of our needs through reconnection with each other, with community, with nature, through creativity and intimacy and sex. Neither talk about the spirit, the energy, the flow, about how we've become the most disconnected culture in human history. No. That shit is left to the poets. Fuck. And so, in the hope that you find some ways to reconnect with nature and each other during this frightening political season, this is John Tessitore concluding another installment of Be True. If you've listened this long, thank you. You can find all of my work, including The Americans, at johntessitore.com. But first, turn on some music. Any music. And dance. If you're sitting, shake your rump. It's free. Special thanks to me for today's theme music, which I call G-Chord. Maybe we'll talk again, and if you enjoyed this little podcast, leave some stars or a review and tell your friends. And in the meantime, I gotta feed this dog. All right, Luna, I'm coming.